Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good to be together with you tonight. It is cold outside, but it's warm in here. It is great to be together to welcome Shabbat, to sing and to pray and to learn and to celebrate, especially as we welcome a new Jewish adult into our midst and into our community. You'll be meeting Bailey in just a minute, but for now, it is a good time to make sure your cell phones are off so that we can be together and uninterrupted for the next stretch of time. Thank you for taking care of that. I think most of our youngest worshipers are in Tot Shabbat tonight, but if there's someone with you who could need a little bit of a break and a little bit of wiggle time, the doors of the family room opposite the chapel are open for some of our younger worshipers if you need a little bit of a break from services. And now, as I mentioned, Bailey is preparing to become bat mitzvah this weekend, and we will welcome her into Jewish adulthood this Shabbat. So I want to invite Bailey and her mom, Sally, up to the bima to light candles for this Shabbat. As they make their way up, I want to invite all of you to turn in your books to page 3, where you'll find the meditation before the candle lighting, and the blessing for the candles is on page 2. Sally, you're up.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own way, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Continue in song. We'll spend some time singing about singing. This musical setting of a selection from the Psalms that encourages us to sing a new song to God. In our books now on page 20, we'll continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi, our hymn that encourages us to welcome Shabbat as we welcome a bride to her chuppah.
Shmo echad.
to greet the Sabbath bride.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing for a while now, friends, and we'll take just a moment, as long as we're up, having welcomed the Shabbat bride, to take a moment to welcome each other. Let's find someone nearby to wish a Shabbat Shalom to. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Oh. Here we go. Still standing, we turn in our books now to page 28. We'll find the call to worship there on page 28. Baruch Hu.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai yai lai lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai, yai lai lai. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, olel or mibnei choshech, olel or mibnei choshech, v'choshech mibnei or. Back to the English. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim.
On page 33, As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Abad.
Please be seated and turn to page 36, where we'll continue together with Ve'ahavta. Page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם להיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 39, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. We continue in song with Mi Chamocha, page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא נורא תהילות תהילות עושה עושה פלא פלא נורא נורא תהילות תהילות עושה עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני אדוני ימלוך ימלוך לעולם לעולם ועד ועד אדוני אדוני ימלוך ימלוך לעולם לעולם ועד מי כמוך
Before we continue with the singing of our Hashkivenu prayer, which is in our books on page 42, a prayer for peace and tranquility as the night gathers around us, we offer this poem by Mary Ruffel, I Cannot Be Quiet an Hour. I begin to talk to violets. Tears fall into my soup and I drink them. Sooner or later, everyone donates something. I carry wood, stone, and hay in my head. The eyes of the violets grow very wide. At the end of the day, I re-glue the broken foot of the China shepherd who has put up with me. Next door, in the house of the clock repairer, 100 clocks tick at once. He and his wife go about their business, sleeping peacefully at night. Page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tzitenu uvoenu. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tzitenu uvoenu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen.
Our Amidah begins in our prayer books on page 46 and will continue on the even-numbered pages following. And I want to invite Bailey Davis, our congregation's newest adult member, to lead her congregation in prayer. As Bailey makes her way up and we have made our way to page 46, we rise to prayer together.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Anora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezoher Hasteavot Veimaot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umashiach Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem, Mehakel Haim Behesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Ravim, Somech Noflim Verofei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umikayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umito Melach, Melech Meimit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah le'achayot akol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom, yechalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. On page 59 now. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Ulocha Na'eh Lehodot. We'll continue with our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav, page 60.
Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We'll take a quiet moment now to allow our hearts to pray their own prayers. We continue praying silently.
say shalom, shalom bimramav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimramav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimramav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael amen.
At this moment, when we offer the heartfelt prayers of our inmost selves, we take a moment to offer a prayer for the safety and peace of the state of Israel. This evening's prayer for Israel adapted from a piece by Rabbi Karen Kadar called Peace, Please. We gather together in faith and with hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel and all the peoples of the earth. Help us, O Holy One, and protect us in our hour of need. Touch our hearts, lest they harden with despair. Guide our thoughts, lest they are overcome with fear. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to those in mourning, courage to those in fear, wisdom to those who lead. Yadid Nefesh, beloved one, reveal yourself and fill the world with your light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Be quick, God of love, for the time has come. Have mercy upon us, eternal one of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, oseh hashalom. Blessed are you, God, maker of peace. This is also the time in our service when we offer a mishaberach, a prayer for healing. This is a time for many of us when our hearts feel extra heavy. This week especially, we think of our friends, our relatives, and those we know and love who are in the path of the destruction of the wildfires in California. We wish them recovery and healing, safety and goodness as they make their way through these uncertain days ahead and even more difficult days yet to come. With them, we gather into our hearts the names of those a bit closer to home, those in our local community and our families, in our circles of care who are in need of healing and wholeness on this Shabbat. Tonight we offer Mishaberach for Marcia Block, Marty Block, Kathy Borden, Marie Bryant, Melba Berman, Eileen Sersansky, Robert Cohn, Stephanie Cousins, Kathy Ellinger, Benjamin Gibson, Marcine S. Goldman, Sidney Greenblatt, Jerry Halfant, Terry Hazelwood, Robin Hodgkins, Christina Howard, Simon Kim, Lawrence Levy, Vicki Samuels Levy, Betsy Lewis, Samuel Lewis, Linda Longnecker, Mary Madrigal, David Marcus, Diane Marcus, Stuart Miller, Ron Nodler, Sherry Penner, Magdalene Pessin, Rufina Poso, Max Pasternak-Rychek, Neil Reisman, Sidney Rogan, Samantha Rosenthal, Joel Selzer, Edward Simmons, Bob Stein, Rana Train, Laura Margaret Winthrop, Yvonne Zients, Ariela Sharon Bat Yafa Shoshana, Gelka Nachama Bat Liba Chaya, Levi Ben Yaakov Yitzchak, Sarah Bat Yehuda Leib, Shimshon Ben Fagel, Yoshua Matityahu Ben Yaakov or Prevachana, and all who are suffering with afflictions of body, mind, or spirit. Mishaberach is on page 253.
those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Friends, I have a few updates about some exciting things happening on the calendar in the week and weeks ahead. Later this week on January 16th at 7:30 p.m., the most recent installment in this year's Music at Emmanuel concert series, this concert entitled Got That Swing, celebrating Jewish and African American big band greats. As we make our way together into Martin Luther King Day weekend, we invite you to step back into the glamorous era of swing for a night of big band music, dancing, desserts, and drinks. The Cantor will be partnering with Philip and a number of other extraordinary musicians to offer this wonderful offering, and we are really grateful to our partners at the JCC for helping us make this event happen. Please do plan to join us on the 16th at 7:30, and please register on our website so we know that you will be coming. This weekend, as we're here together here in the chapel, Rabbi Fixler and Becca Schwartzberg are with a group of our congregation's teens in Washington, D.C. at this year's Litaken Social Justice Seminar. Next weekend, Friday the 17th, we'll welcome those teens back and celebrate the ways that they represented our community while they were lobbying on the Hill. During the sermon slot of next week's sermon, we'll invite those teens to join us on the Bema to share some selections from the lobbying speeches that they offered when they visited with their congresspeople and hear some of their reflections about joining Reformed Jewish teenagers from all over the country for this life-changing experience. Please plan to join us next week so you can hear from our teens here on the Bema. The following Friday, January 24th, in addition to our regular Kabbalat Shabbat service, you have the opportunity and the invitation to attend our renowned Warehouse Shabbat experience at 8 p.m. Come enjoy beverages and dessert and participate in this dynamic, lively, adults-only alternative Shabbat service here at Temple in the Oshman Multipurpose Room. Finally, if you or someone you know loves to sing, we want to let you know that we have a new director of our volunteer choir, MJ Gallup, who is fantastic, and he's also going to be working with our choir to sing for Shabbat at the end of February and in our Purim Spiel in March. So if you love to sing, you may look at your calendar. Rehearsals for the volunteer choir are Tuesday evenings. If you are interested in joining our choir, email Cantor Simmons and she will sign you up. Shabbat Shalom. So this Shabbat, friends, we are at a pivot point between two books of the Torah. This weekend, we end the book of Genesis, and we begin to make our way through the stories of slavery and liberation in the book of Exodus. Our Torah portion this week concludes with the dramatic reconciliation between Joseph and his brothers, and it plants the seeds for the stories of the Israelites in Egypt. These final chapters of Genesis that we learn together on this Shabbat bring with them both conclusion and foreshadowing. When we find him in this week's portion, our forefather Jacob is lying on his deathbed, agonizing about how to ensure the continuity of his family. He calls out and asks for his grandsons, Ephraim and Manasseh, to be presented to him. Joseph, their father, brings the boys forward. Jacob holds them close and kisses them. He places his hands on them and he blesses them, and the family has new life breathed into it through the blessing of those boys, who are remarkable, if for no other reason than because they are the first set of brothers we meet in the Bible who do not fight. As his life comes to an end, Jacob blesses the next generation of his family with his last breath. What was he thinking in those last moments? I suspect that at the end of his life, even at that moment of blessing, Jacob may have been reflecting on the difficulties of his life. Perhaps he remembered his beloved wife, Rachel, and the pain of burying her on a shallow grave on the road to Ephrat. Perhaps he recalled the tension in his relationship with his brother Esau, the years of estrangement and hostility. Perhaps his mind traveled all the way back to his childhood, wincing in pain, knowing that he was a disappointment to his father, who always lamented out loud that he'd wished Jacob could have been more like his brother. But at that moment on his bed, when he looks at his grandsons, he sees in them promise and hope and an end to the conflicts that plagued his family for generations. Even then, in his frail and weakened state, through eyes gone hazy with age, Jacob sees a source of blessing for the people of Israel so potent that it remains with us still. To this day, many Jews use Jacob's own words when we bless our children on Friday nights, expressing the hope that God will make them like Ephraim and Manasseh, which, as it turns out, is exactly what Jacob hoped we would do. Our Parsha says so explicitly. Vayvarchem bayom hahu lemor, on that very day he blessed them, saying, B'cha yivarchech Yisrael, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. It is this very phrase that many Jews say at their Shabbat tables every week when they place their hands on the heads of their sons. And tonight I want to teach you something interesting that comes from the text of this story about how Jacob taught us to bless our children. So if we look closely at the Hebrew of this verse, Bailey, you thought your Hebrew lessons were over. They're not yet. If you take a look at the Hebrew of this verse, we can see an inconsistency in how one of the words is spelled. I want you to look sort of closely there. That same word, the Hebrew word lemor, which means saying, is spelled in two different ways in the same verse. Once the normal way, lamed aleph mem resh, and once unusually, with a letter vav inserted in the middle. You can see the red letter up at the top there, lamed aleph mem vav resh. There is an extra letter in the word. Where did that letter come from? And what is it doing there? Well, there's a midrash that suggests that the Torah wrote this word in this unique way in the story about Jacob blessing the boys, because it wants to indicate to us that the blessing he offered them was completely full, that there was nothing lacking. There was nothing missing when Jacob lays his hands on his grandsons' heads. And so how did that blessing come to be filled up and rounded out in this unique way? Where did that extra vav come from? The rabbis teach us it came from the innermost part of Jacob himself. Jacob's name, Yaakov, should be spelled this way: Yud, Ayin, Kuf, Vav, Vet. But it's not spelled that way in the Torah. The text omits that letter every time Jacob's name is written, spelling it instead like this: Yud, Ayin, Kuf, Vet. This is how it should be spelled, and this is how it's actually spelled. Jacob has spent literally his whole life with a vacancy, an emptiness in the center of his own name. For his whole life, emotionally, despite having lived a life of full hollow, he was never able to feel that he was enough. For years, he felt hollow. He was never able to feel that he was enough just as he was. He only noticed his own emptiness. And now, at the end of his life, Jacob experiences something he's never felt before: the ability to wish for someone else's fulfillment, someone else's blessing before his own. So what the Midrash teaches us is that Jacob prayed for the restoration of that missing vav, that missing letter, that slender line that should appear in the middle of himself, filling his up. And he prays for it to be restored, not to himself, but that it should be given to his grandchildren. so that they could enjoy a sense of completeness that he himself never could. Only by giving away the things he grasped most tightly and selfishly before, blessing, inheritance, approval, can Jacob feel complete, that he has all he needs. Only then can he die fulfilled. This moment in the Torah is the fulcrum around which Jacob's emotional transformation pivots. This is the dividing line between Israel's history in Canaan and its future in slavery, liberation, and self-determination. What links the past and the future is self-awareness and self-acceptance. The ability to acknowledge and accept that there are things we are missing. We have disappointments. We have emptinesses. But that we're not condemned to a life sentence inside them. It's paradoxical, but it is true. Our emptiness can be a place for us to start when we are ready to deliver blessing to others. We can look into the tender, hollow spaces inside to find sources of compassion and loving kindness. It's a hard and holy thing to see our own emptiness with clear eyes and to claim it as the first step toward offering a compassionate presence to others. I mentioned earlier how Jacob's blessing for Ephraim and Manasseh is traditionally used by parents blessing their sons on Friday nights. But this custom has only been around for the last couple of centuries, a blink of the eye in Jewish history. In the Middle Ages, you would not have heard those words spoken at a Shabbos table in a Jewish home. You would have heard them in the synagogue as part of the High Holy Day liturgy. In medieval Europe, congregations recited the words of Jacob's blessing just before Kol Nidre. They were placed there, I suspect, as a way to remind us that it is possible to change, that we can learn how to be selfless, even after years of selfishness and self-centeredness, that we can learn self-awareness even after a lifetime of self-deception. Jacob's blessing emerged from his ability to see himself with new eyes. His deathbed epiphany finally enables Jacob's son Joseph to reassure his own brothers that he won't seek revenge on them to fill the emptiness he felt in his childhood. After seeing his father's transformation, Joseph can tell his brothers that he loves them, that he'll support them, and the entire Jewish story pivots and changes. Joseph's family and his people prepare to move into a whole new chapter, figuratively and literally, and the book of Genesis comes to a close. When we finish reading a book of the Torah in the synagogue, we share an exclamatory prayer, Chazak v'nitchazek. Let us be strong and let us be strengthened. That hopeful prayer for fortitude seems to take on special significance here at this vital fulcrum in the story of Israel's national biography, when we recognize that real strength comes from the ability to look simultaneously inward and outward, accepting at the same time our own emptiness and the renewal that comes from a relationship with others. The deepest kind of blessing comes forth when we take our first brave steps past the dimness of our own shadow and into the restorative light and warmth of shared human presence and shared community. Friends, we're together tonight at a time of new beginnings. It's a new year in our secular calendar, a new book in our Torah reading cycle, and a new chapter in our nation's history. We will move forward together. And as we do, I pray that we will be sources of strength and blessing for one another. That is what I wish for you, for all of us as we make our way together toward a future of liberation and strength and the presence of a spiritual community offering wholeness and blessing to all. Let us be strong, and let us strengthen one another. Amen. We'll turn in our prayer books now to page 282. At the bottom of the page, Aleinu L'Shabeach will offer this prayer before the open ark. Would you please rise?
Aleinu L'Shabeach La'adon HaKol Lateit Gedula Leotzer Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kegoye Ha'aratzot Velo Samanu Kemishbechot Ha'adama Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umorim Livnei melech machei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Page 287. Ve'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad.
Please be seated. Page 293. As we prepare for Kaddish, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We take a quiet moment now to do the sacred work of memory. At this time, we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. On this Shabbat, our hearts go out in sadness and sympathy to the families of Jerry Schicker and Arkady Grinman, laid to rest in recent days. To their names, we add these, the names of those whose yahrzeits fall at this season. Together, we remember Gloria Friedman Altman, Ruth Axelrod, Sally Rose Boehm, Harvey Baum, Morris Bell, Michelle Bland, Ben Blum, Gussie Bloom, Selma Bradspies, Ruth Brodsky, Bessie Brown, Homer Jean Bryant, Virginia Burling, Beatrice Selden Berman, Barbara Nathan Karsh, Seymour Carson, Leon Davidson, Abraham Dipkin, Sam Evanier, Francis Bender Fagan, Harry Feldman, Edward Feldman, Rabbi Louis Firestein, Sadie Fleischman, Ira Fradkin, Leonard Huntley Freeman, Frank E. Fried, Yitzhak Friedenberg, Yetka Friedenberg, Debbie Friedman, Bertha W. Furman, Celia Gates, Sadie Blum Gaylor, Bertha Gershowitz, Celine Gerson, Fanny M. Gimbel, Rosalie Gingus, Frida Granoff, Pauline Greenberg, Rachel Cohen Greenfield, Bessie Greenfield, Robert Ivan Hauser, Lillian Hecht, Ronald J. Herman, Lena Hertzstein, Morris Hertzstein, Sarah K. Hoffman, Meyer Hoffman, Abe Jacobs, Reuben Jaffe, Elliot Kaplan, Norman Cass, Esther Copland-Katz, Sydney Katz, Irvina Katz-Ross, Cy Cosberg, Sadie Kalmans Krakauer, Eva Lesser, Albert L. Levine, Dave Lewis, Martin Louie, Pauline Love, Richard Townsley Maddox, Sibylla Markham, Sophie Bishkin Miller, Gertrude Trudy S. Miller, Arthur S. Miller, Stuart Morowitz, Evelyn Monroe, Haskell Muntz, Elwood Woody Nestvold, George Ovetsky, Max Pagel, Rosa Pagel, Isidore Parkins, Leonard Parvin, Arlene Paul, Joe Pichotto, Paul Rakusin, Leonard Rauch, Sarah R. Reich, Johnny B. Reinstein, Stephen Robinson, Gertrude Goldie Rocklin, Sam Roost, Joan Rose, Miriam E. Rosemarin, Esther Rothman, Tilly Saman, Fred Schaffner, Edna Schulman, Rachel Siegel, Mamie Selber, Jean Priestman-Silo, Renee Krakauer-Siegel, Rosalie Siegel, Mikhail Sirota, Zachary Strauss-Slater, Joan Sloan, Howard K. Smith, Sonia B. Sobel, Sophie Sokoloff, Joan Rush Spitz, Joan Stiegman, Edith Stein, Ben C. Steinberg, Eleanor Stern, David Strauss, Fanny Strauss, Richard L. Sussman, Max Swartz, Ann Teitelbaum, Israel Teplitsky, Selma T. Thalheimer, Philip Travis, Lillian Weil, Ethel L. Wag, Solita Ann Saper-Walker, Eve Wallace, Rachel Wilk, Polly Wingrad, Alexander Winter, Thekla Wittenberg, and Thelma Zinner. The memories of all the departed are with us as we turn in our books to page 294 and rise together for the recitation of Kaddish, Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach irtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'vchay d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'elam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha barichu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
You may be seated. I want to invite Bailey back up to the bima to lead us in Kiddush and Hamotzi, and to join her, I want to invite her friends Arlene Natkin, Michaela Strauss, Scarlett Crichton, and Brooke Goldberg. They'll be joining us for these blessings. The blessings of Kiddush and Hamotzi start on page 5 of your prayer books.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinilanu. Zikara lemase bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh, zeher lesiyat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol Shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinheltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Motzi lechem min haaretz.
Now, there's also some
Amen.
challah, and maybe you want to share it with people back. You can take a seat and bring the challah with you.
Good job, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead and take it with you if you want. You want to share? Oh, great. Thanks.
Someone take it? You guys can take it.
We will close this evening with the singing of Od Yavo Shalom, the hopeful prayer that peace will come and reign among us.
Feel free to clap along on this one. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. One more time. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Would you please rise for a moment of benediction? Ribono Shel Olam, eternal spirit of the universe, we ask your blessing as we make our way together into this restful Shabbat. May we be blessed with peace, with shalom, and may that shalom be shalem. May it be a peace that is whole and full. May it fill us up and overflow to cast its light on those we love and the whole world. May this be your will, O God. Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.